Do you have a hot new business or an established business that offers great and unique services or products that you want to get the word out? Are you looking to grow your business and you want everyone to hear the buzz about it? Do you have an amazing project or an idea that impacts our community that you want to share or get others involved in? Then you've come to the right place. You're listening to Community Connections with Norma G. I'm your host, Norma Guerrero, and I want to share your passion while connecting with our community. So now, let's get ready to hear about what's hot, what's new, and what's happening on Community Connections with Norma G. Give us a call at 888-565-1470 and join our conversation. Good evening, listeners. Thank you for turning into Community Connections with Norma G. We're happy to have you back again this Monday evening. And we're very excited here at the studio as we are live on 95.3 FM. And so that's a great day for us. And so thank you for tuning in. If you'd like to also listen to us, you can also listen to us on your AM 1470 radio. You can watch us live today at AMP2 TV Productions and live stream on Facebook. And we have a special guest here in the studio today. Her name is Kendra Erica. She's a singer, songwriter, and recording artist. And we're going to learn a little bit about her and her background and her music and, you know, the different styles of music that have influenced her. And just kind of learn about the style of music that she wants to progress forward in her life. And so, Kendra, thank you so much for coming in. It's so nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you as well.
Good. So how you been doing?
I've been doing incredibly. I mean, there's so much momentum going on, and I just want to keep it up. I mean, I just released an awesome track. It's called After Hours in October, and that's basically the leading single for one of my leading singles for my EP coming out. And I have another single dropping later this month called Oasis.
Wow.
And I recorded that in LA with Damon Sharp, and and he's just worked with everybody under the sun. He's worked with the cream of the crop, basically.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So tell me, Kendra, what is your musical background? What is your musical influence?
Well, my musical background, I was classically trained actually at a very young age, and then that influenced me to just branch out, because when you have that classical technique, you can do, jazz and pop. And then when I was about 15, I wanted to have my own identity, and I started writing and recording my own music, and I really found a really cool niche in that.
And did you find that to be like a natural gift that you were able to write music?
Yes. Yeah, it was just really comfortable for me, and I love putting my message out there in a very in a very authentic way, and in a way that impacts others, which is which is like transporting them into a world that you're creating.
And what type of music do you play?
I mostly sing like Lana Del Rey. I love Lana Del Rey. I love Ellie Goulding, Sade, Frank Sinatra, Billie Holiday, like all the greats from every generation and genre. I love performing that, and Laura Branigan as well. She's incredible.
And do you have an album that you've already produced and that's out?
I'm working on an EP right now.
Okay. So is that a single?
It's like five songs, I would say. Five really strong songs, and that will be out early next year.
Is that right? And is that After Hours will be on that?
Yes.
Okay. And then so now you've released your second single, Oasis.
That's releasing later this month.
Okay.
So.
And so if you were to quantify, when you named kind of like some of your influences, that kind of, it's a broad spectrum of influences, but your music, what genre would you kind of place it into? Not to put you in a box, but just, do you have are you playing around still with a couple different genres?
I mean, it's always fun to, play around and find where you fit in. And that journey and that sort of process is always really fun. I mean, lately, I've been doing a lot of deep house because I feel that my voice suits well for all the DJs out there who are going in the deep house route right now, and I've just fallen in love with that genre.
And so, for those listeners out there that don't know what deep house is,
Yeah.
what is deep house?
It's basically like it's sort of like a dance song, and
Okay.
it is a dance song, but it's more down tempo and it's more laid back and loungy.
Okay.
It's like what you would hear at the living room at the W Hotel.
Okay.
So
Well, that's really cool. And so, you do you play any instruments yourself,
I
or
play
strictly singer?
I I mean, I play piano sometimes, just for chord progressions, but mostly I just like to write to tracks now. I mean, when I recorded Oasis, there was just a track, and I went into the vocal booth and just laid down a couple melodies, along with Damon and this other writer, and we just picked those strongest melodies, and then we piece it all together.
So, if somebody wanted to hear your music, how could we find you?
Go to my website, kendraerica.com,
Uh-huh.
or
We're
you
looking-
can go to Facebook, SoundCloud, and also follow me on Snapchat, Instagram, and Twitter.
So, this song, After Hours or Oasis, do you think we could hear a little taste of it?
Oasis, I'm not going to spoil anything right now.
All right.
But After Hours, yes. I think you guys have it. So
Okay.
you
So,
can
yeah,
play
maybe
it.
we'll be able to tune it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Is it? Are we doing that now? Okay. We're going to tune it up right now. Fantastic.
Everything is slowing down. Smoky air all around. Just put your hands up through my hair. A subliminal truth or dare. Maybe it's the chemicals inside. Can you feel the music and lights? Intoxicated flight in the after hours of the night, of the night.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
That sounds really good. What I like about that is that it's got a really cool, chill out vibe.
Yeah.
So you can kind of almost have that just kind of in the background while you're just kind of going through your day, and it's a little relaxing.
Of course, yeah. Like I like to create songs that, just let people, just vibe out to, and songs that get people just amped up in a more chill, approach.
Okay. And so
So-
when you were mentioning before that you want to kind of get your message out a little bit, have you been able to develop? Do you have a clear idea of what your message is a little bit?
Yeah, well, I've always loved the James Bond films, and I love the concept of the Bond girls and how they're so timeless and iconic. And I really feel that young women nowadays tend to get caught up in the current fads, but what they don't know is that fads are, waves that are just, short-lived. And I really like to uphold a sense of, class and taste, and just wanting to reach out to them to say you can be, sexy, but be tasteful about it, and not sleazy. Because I think a lot of young women, they just get caught up in that. And
Well, that's an important message, to know the difference between, classy
Right.
and a little risque,
Right.
but then crossing over that line of, as you said, a little bit sleazy. But I was able to see some of your videos, and so you've actually the song. How many videos do you have out there?
I have, in terms of music videos, I have around over 5.
Over 5.
Yeah.
And these are the songs that are going to be on your album, or just even stuff you've done before, what you've.
Yeah, it's more of my past material.
Okay.
And videos are videos, and they're always fun to make. So and I love the video making process because it's like making a film.
Because there's a little bit of a Bond feel.
Yeah.
And kind of your videos, which I was actually kind of, when you said that, I'm like, oh, actually, that makes a lot of sense because they were very
Right.
glamorous. They're very
Yeah.
highly produced videos.
Yeah.
They were done here in Florida?
Yeah, Hustler was filmed in New York, and what's so funny is that it was the street. It was on Bond Street, and the
Really?
studio was
There's a Bond
called-
Street in Manhattan?
in Brooklyn.
In Brooklyn, okay.
And it was filmed at Bond Street Studios. So it was just the universe was telling us something. And but then Miami Love was filmed in Miami, of course, and Truth Never Lies was filmed actually at my house in Boca.
Okay.
So, yeah, it was
That's
pretty
awesome.
interesting.
That's really, really good. Well, we're going to take a little break and we're going to come back and talk a little bit more with Kendra and learn a little bit more about her background and her musical influences. So you're listening to Community Connections with Norma G on 95.3 FM, and we'll be right back.
Times are tough, and right now those in the commercial world know that being heard via advertisements is the name of the game. AmpSquare.tv understands how important advertisement is and is proud to express that it's truly the only plugged-in internet television production company on the market. Amp2.tv live streams all their shows across all the major selling markets in the U.S. and abroad. Call them at 866-224-5422. The AmpSquare.tv library allows productions to be seen over and over again, making commercial platforms more usable. Call 866-224-5422. Toll free 866-224-5422. Amp2.tv, the first and only internet television network that's truly plugged in. 866-224-5422. That's AMP2.TV.
Thank you for listening to Community Connections with Norma G. We're the place where we talk about your business, a product, an idea, or a project, and get the word out to our community. I'm your host, Norma Guerrero. Today we are sharing your passion while connecting with our community. Give us a call at 888-565-1470 and join our conversation. Don't forget to tune in every Monday night at 6:30 to join me, Norma G, and the guests to find out what's hot, what's new, and what's happening in our community. Now, let's rejoin Community Connections with Norma G.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Community Connections with Norma G. And we're speaking today to the very young, very talented, and very beautiful Kendra Erica. She's a singer, songwriter, and a recording artist. And she's got a hot new single coming out in the next... When is it coming out?
Later this month.
Later this month, and it's
Yeah.
called, what again?
Oasis.
Oasis. And what's
Yeah.
that song about?
Well, it's really interesting because when I went out to LA to record this, the studio that I was recording out of it's in the Valley,
Okay.
and the Valley it's like super dry, and it's very it's like super desert like, and so I was looking out the window and I was like, I might want to do a song about an oasis, just something that people can relate back to, Vegas, which is, the all-time oasis.
Oh, so Oasis in the middle of the desert.
Yeah, and also, Oasis being a very, promising place, a place where you could just,
Hope.
get lost in, and just this world. And I think a lot of, EDM songs and original deep house songs, they like to transport you into that sense and into that world.
So the Oasis is another deep house type of song?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, when we were talking at the break, I asked you a little bit about, I know we touched on it a little bit before, about that ability to write songs. And so I'm a little bit fascinated by myself because I love music.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a huge fan. I went to a concert this weekend. Went to the Stevie Nicks concert and the Pretenders. And these are people that back from the 70s and 80s, are still have strong, healthy careers. And I imagine that would be what you would want for yourself as well. And I also, this past weekend, Alicia Keys dropped her latest new album here. And I'm a big fan of hers as well. And she talks a lot about, in this album, how she feels the most authentic in this
Right.
album above all of her previous albums, even though it's taken me a little while to kind of get used to it, because there's a strong message in this album. I think as she's become 30 years old, 30 plus years old, a couple kids, that she's just kind of taking on life. And, and some people write a book, some people speak, she sings.
Right.
And so, do all artists write songs, or do you feel that some also just other songs are written for them? And so, how's that process working with you?
Well, I always like to be original and be true to myself, and just be involved in the creative process, because that's the most rewarding thing, rewarding aspect about being an artist. An artist is supposed to create.
Sure.
And there are other entertainers and performers out there who, they have songs written for them most of the time, because they don't have that much time from touring and whatnot. But I highly encourage anyone that is an up-and-coming artist to create, or somewhat be a part of the creative process as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Because then you're just being more true to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you'll have no regrets.
That's
So-
great. That's great. Well, I wish you continued, development with making more and more songs that you find true to yourself.
Right, exactly.
So when you were a little bit younger, when you were in high school and stuff, did you find yourself involved in the musics and the arts and stuff in school?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah?
Yeah, I was in the advanced chorus and musical theater, and I was number one on the dance team.
Is that right? Is that
So,
right? So you
and
had a couple
I-
different talents. That's why your
Yeah.
videos look good. So do you feel like you have a little bit of acting in you, a little bit to be an actress?
Of course,
type?
I would love that in the future.
Because when I was watching the videos, it seemed like very natural for you to be able to play a little bit of those characters that you were
Right.
playing, portraying the image of the song, the words of the song. But it was like she looks pretty comfortable in that
Yeah.
that avenue. So good for you. So when you went, have you been out to LA a few times, or was that your first time when you?
I've been out there a couple times. Actually, when I first went there on a business venture, it was more for acting, and I just went for, auditions and whatnot. But then all of a sudden, I was like, I'm gonna have to move out here, and I was still in school, and my mom said, I really want you to graduate and have a normal, upbringing, so that you're
To
not
ground you a little bit.
yeah, so that you're not thrown into this, because it is a very crazy industry.
Sure.
And if you're not mature enough to handle it, which I certainly wasn't, just by the nature of it, because I was super young. You can get lost easily. And I just recently graduated college. I have a degree in communications
Oh, really?
and international business.
Where did you go to school?
Lynn University.
Oh, right
Yeah.
here in Boca.
Yeah, right here in
Okay.
Boca.
And so, if do you perform locally here
I do.
in Florida?
I do. My all-time, favorite place is Vino Wine Bar. I just love the atmosphere there, and I'm there every Thursday night,
So Vino Wine Bar on
Yeah.
Thursday nights. What times?
8 to midnight.
8 to midnight. Now,
Yeah.
if anybody out there doesn't know what Vino Wine Bar, it's a very, very swanky, very chill.
Yeah.
It's a wine bar, so
It's
they have
really intimate, too.
Very that's the word I was looking
Yeah.
for. Was intimate, and they have a huge selection of wine available. And I've always enjoyed going there myself.
Yeah.
So I was happy when I saw that you go there. I'm like, oh, I've been there. So I'll have to come listen to you sing one night.
Yeah.
But they have wonderful tapas, great food, great ambiance.
Yes.
And to have some live singing, live entertainment in the background, I can imagine that's a great combination. It's a great date night, by the way.
Yeah, and the sound is just incredible. I mean, there's speakers at every corner of the room. So me as a singer, I love that, because I can instantly hear myself, and I'm surrounded by basically hearing the music and myself, and it's just
And that's on
great.
Thursday nights.
On
and how
Thursday
long have you
night.
been doing that?
For about a year and a half now.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And Vino, if I'm not mistaken, is just located right on the outskirts of Meisner Park.
Yeah.
You know, in that little shopping strip. So that's great. So we can catch you
Exactly.
there. What else?
And also Chops Lobster Bar as
Okay.
well.
Another great place. That's in Royal Palm Plaza.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also I'll be at Broken Sound Country Club and also the Old Course at Broken Sound. And I'm just doing a lot of, private, more intimate gigs now because, it's just it allows you to grow more and find yourself. And especially when you have a pianist beside you, I love that raw feeling.
Okay. And so when are you at Chops Lobster Bar and Grill?
Chops Lobster Bar, that is on my website. If you go to my website, you'll see when I'll be there.
Okay.
So,
All right. Great.
yeah.
And so I look forward to the opportunity to hear you sing live one day because I kind of got my recorded stuff in and preparing for this interview, and I really like your sound. It does have that kind of Sade, kind of down groove with it, and
Yeah.
and that loungy feel. But I like the way that it can also be like a little bit of a dance,
Yeah, of course.
And
I like to appeal to the younger generation.
it's
as
soulful.
well.
I found it a little bit soulful.
Soulful, yeah.
And so I look forward to the opportunity to be able to go and see you sing live.
Absolutely.
And so what else? You said the single comes out, Oasis. That's your new baby that's coming out.
I know. I'm so
and
excited.
when is that coming out again?
Later this month.
Later this month.
Mm-hmm.
And so how do we find it?
It'll be on SoundCloud. It'll be on YouTube. It will be on my website, on iTunes. So any music really, and TuneCore and Beatport as well.
And when you do your performances at Vino or Chops or some of these private gigs that you do
Yeah.
at some of these country clubs here in Boca, Palm Beach, or Broward,
Yeah.
do you mix in your stuff too?
Oh,
Because
definitely.
I imagine you do a lot of covers,
Yes,
and so you mix in your stuff too?
I do.
And do people kind of go, whose song is that? You ever have somebody come up and go, whose song was that?
What's so funny is that one of the main bartender at Vino, she was like, "Oh my God, I love your stuff so much more than the covers."
Right, because it's new and fresh.
Yeah, it's new and fresh.
Yeah.
And and whenever I am performing my own original music, there's just a whole another level that I bring, and it's just you can tell that it's authentic.
Have you had the opportunity yet in your career? Have you had the opportunity to play any type of like live events with big production behind you with a live type of band? Have you had that opportunity yet?
My shows are going to be popping up more and more early next year.
Okay.
So, but I have performed at the amphitheater
Oh,
many
the-
times.
At Meisner?
Yes.
Oh, really?
And I also opened up for, when I was younger, I opened up for Cody Simpson at Revolution Live.
Oh, and
Yeah.
Cody Simpson, he's a young singer.
Yeah.
He's a young singer, and so you got to open up for him?
Yeah.
So that must have been a great learning experience to be with someone who's a little more established,
Yeah.
to learn from him. What'd you learn from him?
Just how he's basically like a young Justin Timberlake. I mean, he's
Okay.
just has that, that smoothness to him. And he's also very, gentlemanlike and very chill. There's nothing pretentious about his performances or himself. And, he just has a really good approach to still, being human, but also entertaining you at the same time.
That's
So-
great. That's great. Well, I'm glad you got to have that experience. Well, I want to thank you again, Kendra, for coming in and speaking with us today on Community
Absolutely.
Connections with Norma G. And, I'm the type of person that when I see young talent, especially so many different areas, but especially music, I love music myself. And without even knowing you very much, I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
And I wish you continued success. I wish you continued soul searching, and so that you can just put out the best reflection of yourself. And
thank
so
you.
everyone out there, again, where can people find you again? One more time?
At KendraErica.com.
KendraErica.com. And so
Yeah.
you can find me at CC Norma G at gmail.com. And we look forward to seeing you again next Monday at 6:30 on Monday nights at Community Connections with Norma G. And have a great week, everybody. You've been listening to Community Connections with Norma G. We'll be back next Monday at 6:30 with a new guest to share about what's hot, what's new, and what's happening in our community. Did you hear something you liked today on our show? Please contact me, Norma G, at 954-802-2015. I look forward to helping you expand your business, project, or idea and connect with our community. That's 954-802-2015.
The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of its hosts, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of the station, its staff, management, or sponsors.